I'd like to begin, Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Herbiazi, the judicial branch, Ajit, the legislative branch, because our job and our duties and our responsibility in the legislative branch. As you all voted to reduce the council, aid donate and region, aid Ahmadiya, aid to up to this day. We have been working, or we have worked on the Title II, where the council where it says 88 in the current and change it goes back to 24. The biggest task that we dealt with AEC was to combine some duties into 4 committees. We reduced it down to 4 committees, and each committee's their responsibilities and on the 5 divisions that I overlooked. And each committee's now they have the responsibilities that they've added to their committees. I see they're meeting every week. We're going to change. There's going to be changes that's going to be made. In this case, we have Resource and Economic Development Committee, which she chairs, that the AEI, because of a lot of the work, they foresee ahead that they're going to be dealing with all these divisions. They made a decision to meet once a week, and that was probably the right decision that they made when they were addressing the amendments to Title II. And the same way with Law and Order Committee, so we have 2 committees that are meeting twice a month, and the 2 committees are looking at changing their committee schedule and making it to meeting 4 times a month to accommodate all the divisions that they're overlooking. The committees at AEI, they are in a huge demand, and and we're forced the committees to meet every week and up to the point where they're meeting twice a week now. Because the committee members, some of them are new to their committees, and some of the committees delegates that have returned back to the council, and those that have returned and gone back to their previous committees. That's no problem because they know what their committees that is. They have no problem with that. But in a situation where there's, in this case, with Resource Economic Development and ADD Committee, since they inherited or overseen 5 divisions, each committee members are now forced to educate themselves or orientate themselves to new divisions, which they have less informed on those committees, divisions, excuse me. Allow the committees to get to know all those divisions and what's all entailed in each committee's. I'm asking that you allow us some time to get to know all the divisions and each division's responsibilities in that with the four committees that are there, ADP there, as let me state again that they are very busy addressing those issues within each divisions or programs. And the fifth committee, which is the Navajo, it's a committee as a whole. As she mentioned, that we didn't call it a committee as a whole, but we changed it. We don't want to be called a cow, so we changed it to Navajo. As a council as a whole, the Navajo committee it acts as an IGR on the previous council, where they deal with the outside entities, federal agencies or counties and outside. They're looking at also the contract and so forth, and that's their responsibilities. And the purpose of the Navajo is to address legislations that go through them where some legislation does require an extensive discussion and extensive debate, much more clearer. So that when that is discussed at the Navajo, when some of the legislation that moves over to the council, then you will have a lot less discussion. Set up I'm allowed each committees to get to know the whole system, so that later that the purpose of the Navajo will serve its purpose, and then when it reaches the council, then we will know that the purpose of the Navajo is then doing its job, where all the discussion debate happens at the Navajo. Set up all the legislation that is drafted, it is now required a 5-day review, and it is put online. And the online is probably the best way that we know that is to get these legislation out to the public. Those that have an opportunity, legislation when it goes online, they get to watch CDs and make comments to those review. It's a 5-day review period. EPA is only for the purpose of the council. The 5-day does not mean it ends at 5 days. Anyone is allowed to make those comments beyond the 5 days. A day, when it reaches the committee, then you're allowed to make comments when it reaches the committee, and then when you go before the committee, you can still make those comments at the committee level. Set up a date, with this new 5-day requirement, then we have to readjust basically everything and how each committees are scheduled. That 5 days, we get involved, we get so rushed ahead of time. 5 days, then we have to step back and allow the 5 days to elapse. It goes to the committee. And then there is more. There's more to be made to to Title II. And a lot of that has to just mainly dealing with what we have in the book, where the book where it refers to the committee, like TCDC, Government Services Committee, the WCA, ADP, those that were in the process of making those changes. And we have a subcommittee that we established specifically for addressing those Title II amendments, and which is the Government Development Subcommittee. And I believe Mr. Jonathan is probably the chairman of that group, and they're the one responsible for getting all those through their committee and getting them before the committees and the council. At this time, like I said earlier, really relying on Mr. Nez and his group to meet whenever they have time. Well, I don't know if they schedule a regular meeting, but they can meet on a regular basis. So if you all would allow us some time to make those changes, and I wanted to bring that forth to the group. One of the things that I really want to bring to the chapters, since we are reduced back to 24, as a legislature, legislatures, legislative branch, secretary, even down to the raising official land board and all the chapter officials at the chapter level. So chapter like Harlan, Waterline, infrastructure development, so and I know that I have 2 delegates right now that are overseeing 8 chapters, and he's doing the best he can to get to all the 8 chapters, which is Danny Simpson and Danny Sosi. 8 out of 8 chapters, and I believe I have two delegates that are looking over 7 chapters, and the majority of the delegates have 5 chapters. Out of the main large communities like Tuba City, Shiprock, and I thought they only oversee just 1 chapter, and that's because 1 delegate equals 7,000 registered voters. But remember, in each chapters, you all have your priorities, and you each have your plan. Each chapter has its own infrastructure, each own projects, and so forth. I want to ask the chapter officials, we have a lot of issues that you all need to get yourself involved in and participate in what's coming up. One of the things that we're working on at the Woodlands level is this redistricting on the project Arizona, so the New Mexico, Utah, the redistricting we have to look at our state legislatures, Arizona, New Mexico legislatures, Utah, I want your participation in that. And one thing that's really concerning behind that is the way when we did the redistricting, we have we really need to get ourselves involved in the state election. So Arizona, New Mexico, and let's participate in it. Then we really get ourselves involved in this one. And then what we're looking for is that we want to have a time will come when we will put a Navajo at a DC position, a representative or a senator. And then I have several information that actually these are the issues that each chapter will have to deal with, and which is the tax and sales tax stuff. And those issues, those certified chapters, you want to have to deal with those. Those are the issues. And then also there's a discussion about chapter boundaries, and those are sensitive issues. And then we also have and we really need to address these livestock, particularly for a reduction, and last is the, of course, is the permanent trust fund. Those are just some of the things that I wanted to share with you all, and I appreciate being allowed this time to present this information to the chapter officials. And at this time, also, I want to bring out some very tragic news that we heard yesterday also. And at the whole team were two individuals apparently entered several homes and Sagi, she one Asas Dashi Ati Nahado Ko, the way had other Diego Tizana, the sheet Oshi Tigi, Ako di she kept as it and asking us to know that it I worry about it. I'm sure Mr. President is worried about it, and we're all worried about these kind of incidents. And I want to bring forth an idea that today, all the surrounding chapters we can all come together and talk about these issues. And of course, this brings only to mind bringing police officers at these areas. Pinyon to Chimley is about 50 or 60 miles, and it takes time for Chimley to get to Pinyon. So let's talk about that, not only the Pinyon area, but other chapters of and let's oversee each other. Mr. President and Mr. Secretary.